Sorry about that,
And
Jody. Yes.
no worries. And I really appreciate this gathering. So my business is Journey's Eye Studio, right next to Lisa. And so Franklin Street, as well as the rest of the town, is very quiet. I am mostly concerned about how to take care of my employees. So I am now paying out of my personal pocket, and as the funds for the business have really run dry. So now it is, and how to do the right marketing and the right relief so that this business doesn't have to go completely under, and that there is some funds for some inventory and to move things forward. So that's on the business side of things. But on the human side of things, I really understand why things are not that important. And so I'm struggling with, I don't want to be begging for people to buy things because we don't really need things. We need each other. And so what is the right balance to running a business and also contributing in a heartful way to what is going on with our community?
Great point. Thank you so much. Now it's phone number ending in 967.
That's me.
All right.
That's Pam Peterson Clark. That's Pam Peterson Clark. Yep. So I'm having some technical difficulties with my laptop, so I thought I'd dial in.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you so much. All right. Next we have Miss Princess. Can you tell us your name and a little about your business? Is this Miss Jolie? I don't think she can hear me. Looks like she's driving. Next, we will go to Mrs. Stallworth. If you can tell us more about yourself. You're on mute right now. You'll have to unmute yourself. Yes.
Okay. All right. Good morning. Thank you so much, Mrs. Peters. It's a pleasure to be with you on this Zoom cast, I guess we should say. I am the principal of Power and Grace Preparatory Academy, which is right here in Clarksville, Tennessee, off of Dunbar Cave Road. And we have about 60 students. Just at 62, when everything stopped, we have stopped going to class on March the 13th was our last day of classes. We have since put in place virtual school or hybrid. We were able to get them their books and making sure everybody had internet and computers along with our teachers. So we've been doing virtual school for pre-K 3 students through the 5th grade. This is our second week of doing that. We had just finished our national accreditation, the 9th, 10th, and the 11th of March, and were approved for national accreditation, but then are not back to celebrate or to move forward with that. We have about 15 employees, and we have applied for the payroll loan through our local bank that we do business with. On their website, it says that it's approved, but then, you know, now it's a waiting game as to those funds being in. Mm-hmm. And generally, we would, parents are paying their tuition right now, but we are having some difficulty with younger parents because they're not used to doing those things at home. They don't have the capabilities. They're really having great respect for teachers. Parents trying to work at home and teach their children as well as do their work. And then myself being a small business person, it is a dilemma. I'm in and out of classrooms, making sure teachers are doing what they need to do online as principal. And then my son here in the house, and high schooler and a college person back in the house, trying to make sure they all have their schedules and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. So by the end of this month, we will be in a bit of difficulty. More than a bit, we will be. Unfortunately, the person that we lease our building from raised our rent this month. He did not have any mercy in that regard for the
Well, we're
COVID.
happy. Yeah, we're happy you're on this call. I would say hopefully you'll receive information, but I know you'll receive information, and we're just happy to share this experience with you.
Yes.
Next, let's go to Erin. Can you tell us a little about yourself? You're on mute, so feel free to unmute and let us know about you.
Yes, ma'am. My name's Erin Beckett Gland, and I own Hygiene Hand and Foot Refinery in town.
Yeah.
I just opened January of last year, and I've been extremely successful. I'm trying to grow my business. I have been fortunate enough to receive a gift from somebody to help me float my business at least for 1 month until finances can be situated. And I have some tricks up my sleeve to offer some home care kits, because I kind of, even though I'm not medical, I do borderline on having advanced education, and my big concern is making sure that people have healthy situations with their hands and feet at home. So even though I can't care for them, I can offer them some home care things to make sure that they stay safe in the interim until I can open back up. So I'm just going to try and glom any information I can gather from this webinar, whether it helps me or not. I can either spread the word, or I can take what I can, bits and pieces from this, and hopefully take what it's worth.
Thank you, Erin. Now let's go to Wes. You're on mute, Wes.
Hey, Lorna. So I'm here. I work with Casey Bryant on several projects here in town, and I actually own a marketing agency here in Clarksville. So I'm here just to help myself in understanding, the difficulties that small businesses are facing right now. Get some insight into what's going on, and hopefully that Casey and myself can give back by listening, by learning, and by understanding some of these problems.
Great, thank you so much. Next we have Al Sereno. Hope I said it right. You're on mute.
You said it right, but this is not actually Al.
Okay.
Linda Manning.
Okay.
Somehow Al is a gentleman I work for, and somehow my Zoom account is mixed up with his, so it logged me in on his. My company is Manning Services, and we do home repairs in Clarksville, and we do commercial repairs, a lot of which are in Nashville. And I joined the call this morning to learn what the small business loans, how the small business loans can help us.
All right, thank you. Let's go to, have a few more people who joined. Let me make sure I'm not missing anyone. Ami, did I say it right? Amy? Maybe Amy can't hear me. Next, the phone number ending in 522. Can you unmute and tell us who you are and tell us about your business? All right, we'll come back to that number. Let's go to telephone number ending in 539. You're currently muted, so you can unmute yourself and introduce yourself if you like. Not hearing anything. All right, so let's just move forward here. If you would like to say something as we go along, please feel free to interject. Now we would like to turn it over to Casey Bryant, our special speaker from local Clarksville. But before I do that, let me do a little introduction about Casey. She has been involved in many successful small business ventures since the age of 21. Currently, she helps her husband with their electric company, Optimal Electric Pro. She manages the day-to-day operations of local Clarksville and works full-time at Life Point Church, running the bookstore and cafe. She's always eager to help people in the community, and from a personal point of view from me, she's become a great friend and someone who's very knowledgeable as it pertains to local businesses. So now I'd like to turn it over to you, Casey, and you tell us more about yourself and more about local Clarksville.
Thank you so much, Lorna. I really, really appreciate you putting this together. And hopefully you guys can learn a little something from today. Before we start, I would really like to just say that I think it's important to remember that we are all in this together. The neat thing about this situation, even though it is unfortunate for most businesses, is that we're all trying to figure it out as we go. This has never happened before. I know, at least in my lifetime. And so I think that that's a little, gives you a little bit of relief knowing that we're all trying to figure out how to move forward. And I think that it helps us to remember that we need to stick together also through this. And that you're not alone, because I know there's a lot of people that feel now that we're in our house, and even though we're not gathering as a community, it's easy to put your head in your shell and feel alone, and you're not. So I want to applaud you guys for being here in this meeting and taking your head out of your shell, because hopefully you're going to learn some cool things and some ways to move forward. And two things that I would like to talk about, two main topics, is what we can learn from this, and then what we can do now. No matter what type of business you have, I want to give you some really great takeaways on things that you can be doing now to help move your business forward. So what can we learn from this? I think that the businesses that are going to come out of this situation successful are the ones that have the ability to adapt and to pivot their business. I think that this is really essential for survival as a business, is staying flexible and looking at your surroundings, looking at the things that are going on, and figuring out how your business can create opportunity and create a demand from others. And so in that, we mostly business owners are very entrepreneurial. So I always have a hard time with that word, spirited. And we love to dream, and we love to create things and be creative. And so I think that the cool thing about this is that it really gives us an opportunity to dig into that creativity. And so I want to remind you not to put your tunnel on and get stuck on the things the way you used to do it, but more focus on what can you do now moving forward, how to stay flexible and how to pivot. And then another cool thing about this is that it gives us an opportunity to dream again. As business owners, when you first started your business, whether you've been in it for 6 months or you've been in it for 6 years or 60 years, I think we all get so excited when we start our business and we have this dream and this is what it's going to be like. And then as we get into our day-to-day rhythms, I think that sometimes we lose that excitement and that enthusiasm that we had when we started. So I think that this gives us an opportunity to kind of reset and have the ability to ignite that imagination in our brain and really dream again and fall in love with our business and why we started our business. And then the other thing I think that we can learn from this is that it's not about you, it's about them. Running a business is not about, though we have a passion and we have certain things that we're good at, I think that sometimes as business owners, we get stuck in how we want to do things and the products that we want to make and the services that we want to provide. But it's really important, again, being flexible, that you keep in mind your customers and what they want, and not focus so much on what you want to provide, but what you can provide them that will add value to their lives. So I hope that this is all making sense for you guys. The next thing I wanted to say, the last thing that we can learn from this, is that I know a lot of us as business owners are living week to week, day to day, even sometimes. And I think that this is a good lesson that we need to get our finances in order. I think that Lorna will give you guys some great resources for how to get us out of this situation. And I think that that's great for this, but I think that it gives us an opportunity to really sit back and think about what can we do to, if something happens like this again in the future, what can we do as a business to make sure that we're not extremely affected by a situation like this. And I think that getting your finances in order, putting aside savings, making sure that you're spending less than you bring in, I think all of those things are really important, so that when this happens again, because if you're a business owner, there's going to be ups and downs, and something like this is going to happen again. It might not be as extreme, But I think that this really gives us an opportunity to sit back and make sure that we have our finances in order for next time. All right, so I want to give you guys some tangible things. What can we do now moving forward as a business? And my first thing is, do not freeze in fear. I think that it's really easy for us. Things are changing day to day, hour by hour, week to week. And I think it's really easy for us to just stop and say, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it. Everything's changing. And to just wake up and go to bed and get nothing done. To sit down and put yourself in front of Netflix and not worry about it. And but I think that is the worst thing that you can do, is to freeze in fear and to not do anything. And so I want to really, really encourage you guys to keep moving forward. Do something every day and create a routine, just like if you're not going to work, just like you would do if you were going to work. Wake up, take a shower, do your hair, brush your teeth, put some pants on. I actually have pants on, believe it or not, in this Zoom meeting. For the first couple of days, no pants, but now I'm like, all right, I got to get back in that rhythm of life. So create a routine and do something every day to keep moving forward. And the rest of these bullet points will give you some things that you can do to move forward. You should still be posting on your social media pages. I think right now is the best time actually to be posting. Even if you're a business that's closed down and you're not currently operating. And that's the cool thing about this list, is this doesn't apply to just businesses that are up and running. This is also some great takeaways for businesses that are closed right now. You can be, if you're a barber shop, you can be posting do-it-yourself tips for cutting your own bangs in your house, or how do you cover up those grays that are popping out, and do some fun videos based on what service you provide or product you provide, and do that on social media for ways for them to do that at home. Another great nail salons, you guys could be posting DIY fingernail, painting. My fingernails are awful. I have no idea what I'm doing. It would be great to have a nail salon get on there and say, hey, this is what you can do to make your nails not look so awful. So, and I know that that's not directly bringing you income, but it is helping keep your face and keeping your business in front of people. It's also giving them an opportunity to get to know your business and get to know your personality, because people buy from other people. They buy from people that they know, like, and trust. And so this will give you an opportunity, even if you're not open now, to develop a relationship with potential clients for when you do open back up. Another example I had is if you're in the entertainment industry, bowling alley or golf, or any event venue, it would be really cool for you to be posting videos of things that people can do at home. Set up a bowling lane from water bottles and use a baseball, or just do really fun interactive videos that, again, will just get people to know, like, and trust you. Video is a must if you have a business. If you don't feel comfortable doing videos, you can do pictures and an article write-up. But for social media especially, if you are not doing videos on your social media, now is the time to break out of your comfort zone and to do some videos. And I really, really think that that alone will have such a big impact on your business. And even if you don't feel comfortable, you can just do some, film them, and then throw them away. But getting the practice and feeling comfortable in front of a camera, this is a great opportunity to do that. And I think that it is so essential moving forward. Another thing that you can do right now is dig into your numbers and focus what makes you money. That's another thing I think that as we get into the rhythm of business, we just do things because we've always done them, or it's what we feel comfortable with. Whether you're operating or not operating, I think this gives you a great opportunity to really open up your QuickBooks or whatever system you use to keep track of your money and analyze the last month, the last year, the last couple years. What are you spending money on? What can you cut down on? What is your biggest money maker? What is your biggest profit item or service? And really dig into those numbers, because that is going to be such a huge thing for you moving forward. And I think a lot of time as business owners, that's the last thing we do. Because sometimes, I know for me, I'm not a number person, and that's one of my least favorite, is digging into the numbers, especially if you're not doing well financially. The last thing you want to do is see negative signs on there. But I think that that is such an important thing that you can be doing. Learning how to best move forward with your business is knowing what is profitable, what is working, and what is not working. Another thing is work on your branding. I've seen so many people that just open their business and they use the first logo that got created for them because it was free, or they only paid $50 for it, or they created it on clip art in their house. And if you go to their website or their social media page, nothing is matching. The colors aren't the same. The fonts aren't the same. And I think that this gives you a really good, also if you've been in business for years, this gives you a really good opportunity. We're slowing down in the slow time to really work on your branding. Pick out 2 fonts. That's all you need is 2 fonts, a heading and a sub font, and a good logo and colors. And every marketing thing that you use those things. It'll really help with your brand recognition as you're posting throughout the different platforms.
Casey, we have a quick question for you.
Yeah.
From Annie, she's asking, is it better to post on stories, or is it better to post on stories or in the grid?
On Instagram, I'm guessing you're asking the stories on Instagram or in the grid. So I would say all of it. What we always recommend in our social media classes is start with one. Excuse me. Start with one platform that you feel comfortable with if you don't have any, or if you started a bunch and are kind of piddling and don't do much actively regularly on there. Pick either Facebook or Instagram, because those are the 2 most popular, and do everything on there and do it regularly. And we always recommend at least once a day. But the biggest thing I think is a couple times a week, making sure that you're doing it all throughout the week. And so the good thing about on the grid is that that stays up there. I think that those need to be really good, high quality, some of your best images, so that when people go to your page and go to your profile, that's what they see. The stories are more for like in the moment, fun, silly, goofy things. They go away unless you put them in your highlights. So I think they're just 2 different things. They're used for 2 different things. And I think that they reach 2 different types of audiences as well. Some people like to look at the grid. Other people like to look at the stories. So my answer to that is you should be doing both.
Thank you.
All right. So we talked about working on your branding, and you guys feel free to ask questions. Lorna, if you wouldn't mind, feel free to interrupt me if any of them pop up.
Yeah, so what I'm doing, once they type it in the chat, I'll ask you the questions.
Okay.
If you would like to type your questions in the chat right down here, I don't know if they can see my screen, on the bottom of your screen, then do that while Casey's talking, and then I can let her know your question.
Perfect. Thank you.
No problem.
So another tangible thing that you can be working on right now is updating your business plan. And a lot of you guys are probably like, "Oh, my business plan, I haven't seen that in 30 years." Or, "Oh, what is a business plan?" And if that's what you're saying, then you have a problem. And so right now is a great time to open up that 1980s Word document and really hammer out your business plan. There's a lot of templates online. If you Google business plan, there's 5,000 of them that are great and they work fine and they're free. The biggest thing with a business plan is having a plan. Knowing, again, that is where a lot of your marketing and your branding comes into. Knowing your target market, which is so important. A lot of businesses have no idea what their target market is. If you don't know your target market, and the more you can narrow it down to their hair color, the more likely you're going to be able to reach them. So I'm sorry, y'all. I have allergies. I promise I won't get you sick through this. So really sitting down and working on your business plan, learning about your competitors, getting your branding package going, setting some goals, digging into your numbers, a lot of the things that I've already talked about will be handled in your business plan. So I think that this is a great opportunity. And Laureneth, I believe that's something that the SBDC can help with too, is with business plans, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Would you like, because we're kind of running out of time here, would you like if we move to the marketing too?
Yeah. Yes, of course. Yep. I'm sorry. I have so much.
No, we have some great interaction. Getting individuals networking with each other at the beginning was really good too. And then the information you're providing. So I just want to make sure you're able to provide all your information. So what we're going to do, I'm going to share the screen and we'll go to that other website.
While you're getting this up, I'm going to give one more tip. Is that okay?
Of course, yes.
Okay. So I think that this is the most important one, and I just don't want to forget it. I think working on your online presence right now, it's a great opportunity to work on your online presence, your website, your social media profiles, making sure that you're showing up in search engines and directories. And we have a great resource, somebody that we've started partnering with here with local is Wes Fed, and Wes is here on the call. I asked him to join because he just has a passion for helping businesses and he wants to learn about what you guys are struggling with and how he can better help you. And so I think Laureneth on this thing has a link that you guys can go to. He's offering a free thing that will analyze how your business is doing online, and it's totally free. You just go on and fill it out and ask some questions, and it'll tell you, it'll rate your business and how you're doing and some things that you can do to make it better.
Perfect. I'll send that information at the end of the webinar. I'll send that link out. That would be great. All right. So now let's go to, am I sharing? Do you see my screen? All right.
Yes.
There we go.
All right. Perfect. All right. I'll let you continue, Casey.
Okay. So we at Local Clarksville, we've put together a central location. I think right now, as this is starting, some businesses are open, some businesses are closed, some are offering different things. So we put together this page, localclarksville.com/care. And on this page, we've gathered a list of all businesses that are operating during this time, linking to your information, describing what you're doing, and that way we can be sending people to one location instead of them having to go to 100 different websites to figure out who's open and who's not. So I thought that this would be a great resource to share with you guys, and if you have a business that you can add to this page, I encourage you to go on here. It's localclarksville.com/care and fill out the application. It'll ask you all of your business. It's at the very bottom is the application. And we would be more than happy. We would love to put you on this page. Grab Local right here, Laureneth, you can stay, is it's a service that we just started and we're really excited about it. It gives us the ability to pick one or two of your most popular items and sell them through our website. And again, the whole vision of this is to put everything in one place so that people aren't having to go to 100 different places and figure out how they can support local. So we have 3 categories with this. We have grub, goods, and gift cards. And so these businesses that are on here have all posted their 1 or 2 most popular items, and people have the ability to go on here and buy these items through our website, which is really, really cool. And even if the biggest thing I think is if you're open and able to open 1 or 2 hours a week, like ArtLink is a great example. They created, they normally do classes in their cute little art studio. And so what they've done on here is they've put 4 art classes in a kit. And you go on here and you purchase this kit, and it's 4 art projects. And they're open just a couple days a week. And you can go in during those times and safely grab your art kit. And then she's posted on her social media some videos on how to do these projects. And so this again is being flexible and thinking outside the box and figuring out how can we take what we're doing and make it accessible to people during these times, because it's also different. So this includes food, grub, goods, and then if there's nothing, absolutely nothing that you can think of that you want to offer right now, you can do gift cards as well. So we have an option for gift cards.
Perfect. So any questions for Casey? Feel free to unmute and ask.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Lisa.
Okay. Casey, this is Lisa from Wedding Bells. I had a question. I typed it in the chat, but I'll just ask it real quick. We don't do pretty much anything we can sell other than maybe a gift card, which, you know, can come in real handy for brides when they're trying to purchase a wedding gown. But we do have a lot of special order items that are coming in now, although not a lot because everybody's shut down. But from time to time, there are brides who's like, I have some that will be here Monday. I can meet these ladies at the door, give them their gowns. They can take them home and try them on. We can do some of these things that way. I'm looking for a place to put that other than on our social media where we are constantly saying, you know, you can give us a call or whatever and we'll meet you at the door, things like that. Can that local website say that? Like, is there a way, is that a good instrument to get that information out there to my customers?
Yeah, so on our care page, basically it consists of two things. The first thing is just a list of businesses that are open and operating and you can get services or products from. And so we could definitely add Wedding Bells on that list, and then link it to your, do you have that information on your website of how they can order and pick up?
No, but I can have that added this afternoon.
Okay. So what I would recommend doing is add the information on the homepage of your website, that it's super easy so people don't have to dig for it. And then you can go on to the localclarksville.com/care page and fill out the application and put that link in there. And then we can add it to our care page.
Awesome.
And then we'll see you right there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Casey?
I do.
Okay.
It's Erin.
Hi, Erin.
I had put in an application and Wes had called me back and had just asked some questions of me. And I offer gift cards online already, but I also am waiting for some supplies to come in with some kits that I'm going to put together. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't know if my business would be located in 2 sections or if I only get to choose one and what's most important to me.
As far as being listed on the care page or being in the grab
yes.
Local, yeah, you can do both.
Okay, I just didn't know if that was taking too much advantage or what the options were.
Nope, yeah, you can do both. This is, we're not looking to make money off of this. This is for you, and so we're willing to stay flexible and help you guys out as much as we can. We'd love to put you on both of them.
Okay, great. Thanks so much.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
Hey, really quickly, I have a question. So what was the marketing package that you guys have available for small businesses?
As the thing that Westfed do to analyze your business?
Oh, yeah, I guess I should have asked, like, what site do I go to kind of look it up or contact you all?
I plan to send out the link as
Awesome.
soon as we're over here.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
No problem. Anyone else?
I'm going to add to really quick. If you guys, even if your business is not on that page, this is just a really valuable resource, I think, for our community. And there are a lot of other businesses that are on there. And so that's something that I feel like we can be doing as a business community as well as supporting other businesses. So if you guys can help us just by sharing that or letting other businesses know that this is available for them, that would be great.
That would be awesome. All right, any other questions?
Is this, sorry, Lorna, this is Annie Ozaxu.
Yeah.
Is this questions only about the marketing component, or are we going to touch on the loans? Okay.
Yes, we're going to move to the loans here in 1 second. My computer has frozen up on me. That's why I'm trying to get out of this part right here so I can get back to our screen. Awesome. I'm back there now. All right. So if no other questions for Casey, we will go to the next topic, which I know a lot of you want to hear more about, and that is the different options as it pertains to loan and loans that can turn into grants for businesses. So give me 1 minute. Let me get back to that screen. All right. As you can see, I have a lot of things open. My computer almost crashed on me for a second here. All right, so thank you so much, Casey. Before we start talking about the different loans and options available, I wanted to tell you about our next presenter, which will be upcoming next Wednesday, and he'll be talking about productivity tips for business owners and employees. This will be a really great topic. I know Casey kind of touched on a lot of us are home. Sometimes we feel overwhelmed and we're not doing what we can to be more productive as we're waiting for our businesses to open again. So this will be a really, really good webinar for you. All right, now let's talk about the SBA disaster loan update. I'll give you a quick overview and then you can ask any question you want of me. So the EIDL, which is the Economic Impact Disaster Loan, that was rolled out about, I think this week will be 4 weeks ago now, where businesses can apply for a loan for up to $2 million. And this loan can cover everything from operational costs all the way to payroll. And so that application has been opened. Individuals have been applying. Thus far, no one has received in Tennessee, as far as we know, no one has received that information about their loans, if they've been accepted or not. They said by the end of this week, we should start hearing something here in Tennessee. It rolled out for some other states before us, so they've started hearing things, but we have not heard anything yet. The next one that was recently released, actually yesterday or Friday, some people were able to start applying on Friday, the Paycheck Protection Plan, Paycheck Protection Program, and that is basically for individuals with employees. If they wanted to keep their employees hired and make sure that they're paid, this particular program is for them. It can also be used for other things, but if you use the Paycheck Protection Program for other things outside of payroll purposes, then you cannot apply for the Economic Impact Disaster Loan either. So you can't double dip. Whatever you use for one, you can't use for the other one. So that's a quick overview. I know you have specific questions, so I'll just open the lines and ask whatever question you have. Anne, I know you had a specific question. Do you want to ask that?
I think you just answered it. So I was having issues with, so as I explained at the beginning, I've invested money. I was employed full-time for the last year, and I was using my salary to start up my online business. And I'm not at a point where I have revenue to show for the last year or invested in hiring any employees. So I did apply for the disaster relief loan, and you answered that question I had, the first one about updates on that, because I hadn't heard anything. I wasn't sure if it had gotten lost or if it's just I'm on time and not to worry about it.
Not to worry about it at all. I will tell you though, there were 2 different applications. When did you apply? Did you apply like a week ago or 3 weeks ago?
I applied like 10 days ago or 11 days ago.
All right. So what I'll do when we get off this call, I will send you an email. Let me know if the link I sent you is the link you used to apply. There are 2 different links, and okay. The most current link is the one that they're actually going off of as they review applications. So I'll make sure you have that information.
Okay, thanks.
No problem.
Ms. Peters, this is Ms. Stallworth.
Yeah.
So I'm understanding the economic, we did apply, as I said before, and I apologize for being too long-winded on the market.
You're a teacher. We love it.
Yeah, well,
background.
That's no excuse. So I apologize. But the Paycheck Protection Plan we did apply for, and we're waiting to hear about that. The Economic Impact Disaster Loan, I would like you to send me the latest link so that we can possibly apply for that. But should we do that if we were attempting to do the 504 loan? I thought it was either or. You need to make sure that you're doing either or of those. If you can meet the requirements for the 504, you definitely should not be doing the economic impact disaster loan. Is that right?
No. So the economic disaster loan, basically anything that affects your business, folk, during this COVID, I don't know what else to call it, this COVID challenge that we're having right now. If your business is affected in any way by that, that's what the disaster loan is for. The 504 loan is always available.
I see. Okay.
So this is for a specific purpose. So you can still apply for the EIDL loan and the 504 because it's two different things. Yeah.
Well, I definitely need you to, because the one that I saw, I was holding off because I have a question in to you about the 504 as it relates to nonprofit or profit, whether or not there was a big confusion on my part in understanding as a nonprofit, but a nonprofit that is not solely for raising funds. We take tuition, and that's about 95% or 90% of our budget. So I didn't know if they, in looking at whether or not you're eligible for a 504, if that was taken into account, or are they strictly looking at your profit nonprofit status?
They do. They usually take that into account too. How, as a nonprofit, the way you're set up as a nonprofit, they look more into that, and then they can give you more feedback on that.
Okay, and so I'll go forward with those persons that you had referred to get that going. But I will get started. I'm sorry, definitely get started with the. If you send me that latest link, we will go ahead and get started in getting that sent in for the EIDL.
And just know, if you receive the disaster loan, you do not want to use it for your payroll. If you want to use a paycheck, okay.
They made that at our local bank. They made that very clear, and making sure that we understood, because we did come, because the verbiage was a bit confusing.
Yes.
Because it was saying, you know, overhead, utilities, you know, bills, those types of things. And I thought it was just for that 8-week period, but they were saying if you did that, that you would not be eligible for the economics. So we did keep it strictly to our payroll.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, I have a question. So for this is Juanita. For one of my businesses, I have a small portfolio of rental properties, and so I have 3 renters who, so one is self-employed and his business is like a car detailing shop. And so he's not able to pay rent. He paid this month, but he said he didn't know about what next month is looking like. And I have 2 others who are in similar situations where long story short, they can't pay rent. So would I, as a real estate agent, not back it up, not as a real estate agent, but as a owner of those properties, am I eligible for any type of assistance under that?
You are. You're eligible for the economic disaster loan one.
Okay.
And, what you would do you use your EIN number? Do you have it on a specific business with the EIN number, or?
And that is my next question. Actually, so I would say out of all of my properties, maybe only those particular properties are not under my company name. I just file those on my regular taxes until I get them switched over. So am I still eligible, or do I need to do something to,
You're still eligible. They'll just ask you for your social.
Okay.
Yeah. So you are,
Okay, awesome.
Okay. Lorna, this is Pam Peterson Clark. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I have a question. I was in the process of opening my own agency. I actually completed the protege program last month and was getting ready to, open my own agency. And so I guess in this COVID-19 situation that we're all dealing with, really kind of threw me for a loop. So I guess my question would be, do I qualify for either one of these programs?
So do you have any revenue? Because that's what they'll focus a lot of this off of. Did you?
No, I'm just getting started. I haven't, like, I'm at the very beginning stages. So I've been working with an agent. And so, you know, with everything that's happened, you know, my income has dropped completely. And so I'm so no longer have income coming in at this point. And I'm trying to, you know, start this business so that I can, you know, generate revenue. So I'm kind of confused as to whether I should apply for either one of these loans, if I should apply for a grant, just kind of, you know.
Let me ask you something. When did you actually open the business? Although maybe you don't have
So
revenue yet. When did you open? When did it open?
So I haven't technically opened yet. So I'm at the point where I can open. I just haven't opened yet.
Okay.
So I'll be able to start, you know, creating and generating business probably within the next 2 to 3 weeks. But so I'm kind of in a transitional period, you know, with farmers. So that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know exactly what I need to do.
So this is what I would suggest, because there's a loophole, and I'm going to tell everyone on this call the loophole. I can't guarantee that you will receive any money, but the loophole is everyone on this call, if you decide to apply for the economic impact disaster loan and you ask for an advance of up to $10,000, which is the option that's on there, that advance currently, the way how they have everything written up, that advance means that it's a grant. You do not have to pay it back, even though you do not receive the disaster loan. And they're saying up to 10,000. It doesn't mean you receive 10,000. You may receive 200. You may receive 1,000. You may receive 8,000. But that does not have to be paid back if you do not receive the disaster loan. So I would encourage you to just submit the information. It's pretty easy. This new streamlined application they have should take you no more than 20 minutes. If I were you, I would just submit it. And you don't have anything to lose. If anything, you may be able to get some free money out of it.
Okay, perfect. Can you send me the link?
Well, what I'll do after this webinar, I'll send out the link to that and also the link to what Wes is providing on his website through his business also.
Thank you.
No problem.
Ms. Peters, do you have any idea? We did apply for that advance for that 10,000. Do you have any idea when they're looking at that, or because our finance department and who we've been working with, our accounting and all those things, as we, you know, we kind of talk about what we should do and when and all those kinds of things. We're trying to figure out when that might be.
What they forgot to tell, I don't want to say they forgot, but they did not inform applicants. It goes on after they view your application. Then 3 days after they view your application, you can receive up to the $10,000. So the way it was written in the past, once you submit the application, within 3 days, you should receive something, but it's within 3 days after they look at your application.
Okay.
And currently, I had a client that called yesterday, and her application number is in the 3s. And when she called the 1-800 number, they said they're in the 2s. So I don't know what your confirmation number is.
Okay.
Have that. So if it starts with a 3, they're not there yet. They're still going through all the 2s. I don't know how many 2s they have, but
gotcha. So there is an 800 number that you can call and kind of see where they are.
Yes, and I'll send that to you too.
Okay, wonderful. Because I was just asking that question. How I knew that they couldn't instantaneously look at it, but was just trying to figure out some kind of game plan, because we've kind of gotten ourselves together until that point, and then can go a little bit further.
That's true. Yes. So that's what you can do. But I'll send all that out to you too.
Okay.
Lorna?
Yes.
This is Lisa again. I have a couple of questions about this topic. I had 16 employees prior to the last day we closed up, and I'm trying to keep them working as much as possible. Of course, we are completely closed.
Yeah.
Mandatorily. So I've got some of them like going in and cleaning and things like that I'm just paying out of my own pocket, which is not going to last long, the funds to pay from my own pocket for all these things. How long do you think I mean, I've heard talk of the, you know, stimulus check that's coming from the government for each individual person. I could use that to help pay them. I've
Right.
asked some of them to. Most of the 16 are not very full time. They're very, very part time, but they do have set hours, and they may work anywhere from 16 to 24 hours a week. I do have a couple that are very 36 to 40 hours every week, and I've asked them to go ahead and file unemployment just because they're going to get, you know, unemployment based on how they work. It's the ones and one of these young ladies in particular needs her money so badly, and she's a very part-time limited employee. I'm just trying to determine, like, how long will it be, do you think, before we see any of this stimulus money, or not necessarily the $10,000 grant? Is that a guaranteed thing? Does everyone who applies for it get it? How does this all work?
No, perfect. Great questions. So everyone who applies for the $10,000 grant will get it. It doesn't mean they'll get the 10,000 though. They're saying that they will calculate it in a certain way where it depends on how many full-time employees you have, how long you've been in business. They haven't provided the extent to how they're deciding who will get the max 10,000, but you will receive something if you apply for that economic impact disaster loan.
Okay.
To your other question, there's another loophole, because I'm thinking you're applying for the Paycheck Protection Program also, right?
I've applied for every single thing that I can apply for, because I've been told that you don't necessarily have to accept it
exactly
when it comes in. So I've applied for it all. Exactly. And I figure whatever I can get my hands on first to keep my employees going without, I'm in a different position. We've been in business 7 years, but we just moved from a location that was very tiny and very small to a location on Franklin Street that is like 3 times the size of what we had before. And we had 3 times the business. I've now got 3 times the employees. And for the first time ever, I've got a wonderful staff. I don't want to lose any of them. I don't want them to have to go somewhere else. I just, everything was great, and then boom, we're closed. And so we're making masks. We've started like using our alterations specialists to sew masks for people. So I'm doing everything I can to keep people, you know, at a limited capacity in the store, working under, you know, the guidelines we can be. But we're just, I don't know where to turn, because my husband's paycheck covers our personal bills, but when we made this big move, we exhausted all of our reserves to put in beautiful chandeliers and make the building so pretty. And, you know, I just don't have a lot built up anymore to pay people when I'm not getting revenue.
Yeah. So a few options I have for you. I would suggest, if you wanted to, for the part-time employees, I don't know if you wanted to suggest they find another job in the meantime, because once you get that the payroll protection, if you rehire them by June 30th, they still count towards your payroll. So I don't know if you want to suggest to them maybe they can find another part-time in the meantime if somebody's hiring, and then they come back to you before June 30th.
Okay.
But that would be an option. That's another loophole. Once you have your the same workforce you had when you actually applied for it, you can, and you rehire them by June 30th, you're still eligible for that loan to turn into a grant.
Okay.
Can I ask a clarifying question on this? It doesn't apply to me specifically, but in sort of trying to understand the rules. So does 75% of the loan need to go toward payroll during that period in order for it to be forgiven at the end, even if you go that route where you rehire by June 30th?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so she wouldn't really be able to use most of that money to cover fixed costs in the meantime and have it forgiven, because she would need to put that 75% of that loan toward payroll at the end at June 30th when those guys come back.
Yeah, so that is where that's why we're suggesting everyone applies for both. So she uses the disaster loan for everything else, and then, you know, for all the other costs that she has. And, yeah, and then yeah, the PPP, like we're calling it, for payroll, then she's still covered in that way.
Okay,
So
thanks.
if the employees come back to work, just for example, like I am more concerned by far about my employees than I am my business or even myself, because my business is going to be fine.
Yeah.
Myself, I'm going to be fine. But some of these girls so desperately need their money. How did I want to word this? Like, let's say I find out tomorrow, I'm just throwing this out hypothetically, that my PPE has been approved and I'm going to get my loan. Let's say they're going to deposit all my money tomorrow and I'm going to have my money to rehire my employees. But my business is still mandatorily closed down.
Right.
Do I need to pay my employees for sitting home doing nothing, which I would be fine with if that's what I need to do? Or do I bring them back to the store like one at a time to clean, or have some of them working on social media from home, which they're already doing that. Bless their little hearts, they're volunteering to do my social posts because I'm not the person who does our social media. They're doing that from home and they're not even getting paid. How do I legally, with the mandated closure, bring them, and I don't want them to get sick, but they're all at home being quarantined anyway. So I don't know what to do.
Yeah. I'll tell you what some of the other businesses are doing. They're just paying them and keeping them at home, or they're paying them and have them coming like on staggering shifts, where one will come in at a time and then that person leaves, and then kind of like what you mentioned, maybe have them come in one by one.
Right.
But some individuals are just paying them to stay at home.
And I'm doing that now, having them come. I can't afford to pay all of them to just sit home, but I do have one or two coming in, one or two at different times during the week, and just paying them on my own. Yeah. For cleaning, or for, like I said, we're making masks and things like that, just different things that I can have them do, but eventually I'm gonna run out of money to do that.
Yeah.
So once this loan comes through, I can just pay them to sit at home.
Yes.
Okay.
Technically. But I will tell you, as it pertains for the disaster loan, I can talk all about all day. For the payroll one, since it's in collaboration with the bank and with SBA, I would check with your bank also and make sure they are in agreement with that, because in the end, you have to sign off with them.
Okay.
So just make sure of that too.
Okay. Very good.
Can I add
Lauren,
something?
oh, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead, Casey.
I was just going to say, Lisa, a really cool thing that you can be doing as well is asking, because I know you do have an amazing group of girls in there. I love their smiles, and they seem really
they are
and great for your business. I think that it gives you a great opportunity to ask them what they want to do as well. Some of them might be interested in helping with marketing. Some of them might be wanting to get into photography. I think that there's a lot of really cool opportunity there. Ask them what are your passions, and then help them figure out how to use your business to grow that in them.
Awesome. Good idea.
That's a good idea.
Okay, can I go next?
Yes, Erin.
So I filled out the EIDL application maybe a week after it came out, and that was about 2.5 hours of my life that I wanted to cry and not get back.
Yes, so that application has been streamlined. So I would make sure I send you that link too, because
okay, but here's my question.
Sure.
When I read it, it said, don't apply twice. We're not going to look at it. And there was no offer of the $10,000 advance, whether I get it or not. That wasn't an option. There was lots of confusing information. I didn't know if I filled it out correctly. And so I thought, if I screw this up, am I even going to be looked at? And literally, it just made me crazy, but I did the best I could. And I got an email back saying it's in review, and my first number is a 2, so I'm assuming that it's in review. But once again, I wasn't offered the $10,000 grant option. So my question is should I reapply, or should I just leave it where it is? And the $10,000 grant advance option is an option, but I didn't get to mark it. I don't know where to go with that.
Yeah, so you should reapply. When you reapply, and they assured us that it will not change your number. It just means that when you reapply using this application, you can now opt in to receive up to $10,000.
Okay, so it's not going to screw up my situation
No,
to
they promise
reapply.
us it will not. And I'm telling you, the federal government is trying to figure out how to do all of this because, as you know, they are not quick to do anything and they have to move quickly. So they're trying to figure it out as they go, but they did promise us that it will not mess up anything.
Okay, and then there were rumors floating around, although I didn't see anything in writing, but there was a lot of people who applied for it and they were terrified. They said, I've applied for this idle disaster loan, but it could take 60 to 90 days to receive your funds, which is scary because we're closed down now. We're trying to cover costs, and some people aren't allowing deferment of payments or deferment of rent or anything like that. So is that a true statement, or is that just a rumor going around, or do you even have any information based on that?
We've heard a lot of different things. The final thing I heard yesterday, we have a call that we do with SBA every single day so that we get updates because, as you know, it's changing literally every 5 minutes. But the last I heard, first it was supposed to be between 2 to 3 weeks. And you're right, now they've moved it on. They said it can be up to 6 weeks or more at this point.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, then good news. I will take advantage of the link that you'll send out later and I will reapply for that. I did apply for the PPP and I got a message back from my bank and they were saying that they were sending mine on to the SBA today. So that was good news.
Perfect. That one is moving smoothly so far compared to the ILO. So that's great.
But there were some hiccups with that because they couldn't put out their portal to apply because the SBA kept changing some things on their end. So things are changing hour by hour. And I think, as much as frustrating as it is being a small business, the government has to navigate this. I mean, this is a worldwide issue and a nationwide issue. This isn't a tornado happened here or a hurricane happened there and a small group of people. I mean, there was that whole article that came out that 6.6 million people applied for unemployment.
Yeah.
And that just, it almost broke the system.
Mm-hmm.
So it's navigating brand new territory.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's taken, hours upon hours. On average right now, me, just here in Clarksville, I'm working on average 12 hours a day. So I can't imagine everyone else just trying to figure out what's going on. Because I would promise you, as soon as we get off this call, by tomorrow, some things may be tweaked a little bit, and I'll make sure I keep sending out that information. But we're just hoping that things come through for us. And as Clarksville, we can continue to grow, rebuild, and look at this, as Casey said, as a time for us to dream, continue to dream. I love all the points she did provide to us. Before we end this, does anyone else have any other questions?
Yes, this is Linda Manning. I have a question.
Sure.
On the disaster loan application, there's a place where I can put in lost rents.
Yeah.
Since I don't know yet how much rent I will have lost, how do I fill that out? I don't know how long my property will be vacant because of this.
You put an average of 3 months usually.
Okay.
Yeah, it's usually 3 months in there. And you're thinking, so remind me, Linda, this is property that you're renting out, remind me.
Yes, this is a house that we rent out to corporate clients. They come to Clarksville while they're working on short-term jobs. So we rent it out 3 months, 6 months. It's a fully furnished place. And it has been empty. The property manager has said the prospective clients are delaying their travel because of COVID. And I don't know when they'll come back.
So for that, I will go out at least 6 months if I were you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Always 6 months to a year, because at this point, like literally, we are assuming things, but we really don't know. So I would do 6 months to a year just to cover yourself.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Well, thank you so much for being on the call. Before we leave, Wes, would you like to say anything? I know this is impromptu, but about your services, about the free information you're offering, would you like to offer any input on that?
Thanks, Lauren. One thing I would just like to say to all the small businesses out there, just like she was saying, this is a widespread problem. Every business is facing problems and struggles right now. And, but people still people still want to support you. Your customers still want to support. They still want to buy. Um, you know, maybe you can't still sell the same service or product as you could before, but as you're figuring this out and as you're learning to adapt to the changes, it is important to communicate with your customers through social media, like Casey said, and to just you have to focus on your online presence now, because basically that's all a lot of businesses have, just the online portion of your business. So it's important to focus on that, to keep it up to date. When new products or services come out, make it known, because people still want to buy, and that is probably more important now than ever. Just focusing on your online presence is a big part of how we're going to be able to sustain and come out the other end with more loyal customers and be better than ever.
That is awesome. Thank you so much, Wes. And thank you everyone for being on this call. Always feel free to email, call if we can help in any way. And if you would like the information of any individuals that were on the call, like Casey and Wes, we can also send that information out to you. Have a great rest of the day and see you on our next webinar series. Have a great day. Thank you for joining. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.